Today on FSI, we are breaking down the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks from a betting perspective. We're currently 7-1 in our official moves on Twitter, so make sure you follow that. Now, I've gone over all the film, and he's done all the analytical research so you can make an educated decision on the game. I'm your host, Tom Cross, and to my right is our analytics expert, Stephen Fu.
Thanks for tuning in this week. The Vikings are on the road as a 7-point underdog. They're plus 260 on the money line, and the Seahawks, they're minus 320.
I'm not shocked by the spread. The Seattle Seahawks are playing really good football right now. Russell Wilson is putting up a ton of points, and that's why you see this 7-point spread. Now, the Vikings, they did come off a good win against the Texans, but the Texans haven't won a game.
Both teams are coming off Week 4 wins, and each of them face pretty easy opponents. The Vikings got their first victory of the season against the winless Texans. And while the Seahawks continue their undefeated season at a perfect 4-0 record, you'll probably see a lot of money towards Seattle, just because of the win disparity between the teams.
Kirk Cousins is coming off the best game he's played as a Viking. He got an A- grade from me. He started to connect with rookie Justin Jefferson, and it makes a big difference in the offense because teams can't just key on Adam Thielen. Now, he had no bad passes last week, which is rare for him. So I really like what Kirk Cousins is doing this season.
Russell Wilson is currently the front-running candidate for the MVP. He ranks first in passing touchdowns, yards per attempt, and completion rate. I would say it's pretty much impossible to defend Wilson right now. He can move the ball multiple ways, either by throwing or running, so it takes very good defenders to contain him.
In passing situations, the Minnesota Vikings offensive line is below average. They allowed 26% of pressures or sacks to dropbacks last week. Now, Seattle's D line is horrible. Against the Dolphins, they only got there 18% of the time. Anything below 20% is god awful. I actually have to give a slight advantage to Minnesota's offensive line here.
A big weakness of Seattle has always been their offensive line. They've allowed 11 sacks this year at a sack rate of 8%. And even though Seattle's not strong here, I think they still have an advantage against the Vikings pass rush. Minnesota has done a poor job applying pressure. They're only getting to the quarterback 5% of the time.
The biggest change for the Vikings wide receiver core was the loss of Stephon Diggs. Now, over the last 2 games, his replacement, rookie Justin Jefferson, has been playing really well. Him and Kirk Cousins have a good connection, and that really helps Adam Thielen because he doesn't see double coverage anymore. Now, Seattle's defensive backs played really good against the Dolphins. They had 3 passes that should have been intercepted. Very good coaching, but at the end of the day, the Dolphins were in position to score 5 times. Lucky for them, 4 of them were field goals, so I gotta give an advantage to the Vikings here.
This matchup is going to be very favorable for Seattle. DK Metcalf is currently leading the league in receiving yards with over 400 yards on the season. Metcalf has solidified that number 1 spot for the Seahawks, but Tyler Lockett is still a great number 2 option. I don't see any way you can stop this offense, especially with the poor defensive units of the Vikings. They currently give it the 3rd most passing yards in the league.
Now, what I think might be the difference in this game is the Vikings, they can run the ball really well. Cooks might be the best rusher in the league right now since Nick Chubb is out. Now, Seattle's defensive line, it was graded as a C- against the Dolphins. They didn't allow any large run plays, but the short stuff was there. The Dolphins were averaging over 5 yards a carry, so I got to give an advantage to the Vikings here.
Running is not the focus of Seattle anymore. They're currently ranked 20th in rush attempts, so you're not going to see a high volume of runs. I think it's going to be pretty evenly matched here because the Vikings are not that good at defending the run.
I like the Vikings in this matchup. Now, as you saw in the Browns and Cowboys, a team that can run and pass effectively will dominate a bad defense, and that's exactly what Seattle has. Now, Seattle, they just passed, and although the Vikings defensive backs are young, I actually saw them come along in that game against the Texans. Now, Harrison Smith got kicked out of the game for playing too hard, but he's going to be fully healthy and ready to go against Seattle's wide receivers. Now, I do like the Vikings here, but go ahead and buy the half point. It'll put you in a great position. Let's say Seattle's up 14. The Vikings can still backdoor cover, but I also think the Vikings might actually win this game.
The Seattle offense is clicking on all cylinders right now, and they're facing a terrible defense this week, so I have no doubt they'll dominate this game. I think it's a good idea buying the point down and get the Seahawks at -6 points.
Now, we can't predict injuries or the weather, so make sure that you follow our Twitter for our official moves. We're 7-1 there, and we are currently raping the sports book. Now, that's it for us. Do me a favor and smash that like button and subscribe. Tell us who you're going to be taking in the comments below.
We don't care about favorite teams here. Our focus is on making you money. Follow our social media on Twitter, Instagram, or our webpage. The links are below.